Let's take this new opportunity to talk about Lilia Bogomolova, new Prime asset coming to Outlast Trials on December 9th, that I'm actually very hype about, surprisingly because I am very Christian. The update appears to be very blasphemous. I mean, it is literally called Project Messiah, but that doesn't change the fact that Outlast is cooking right now. Red Barrel's on top. And this is not the first time that they have taken shots at the Christian religion. I mean, Outlast 2 is basically an entire game that is made around blaspheming Christianity and saying that it's all in people's heads. However, I do find this killer to be very interesting, and as a Prime asset, this is the first one that's actually genuinely terrifying. In fact, I would go as far to say this is the first time I've actually been scared since Outlast Whistleblower showed us the Gentleman, because I feel like he was the last character inside of this universe that genuinely sent chills down my spine because of what he was doing and what his motivation was. But ultimately, as a Prime asset, this character looks genuinely terrifying and interesting. Not only is she an evangelical apparently, but she's a stealth killer, which means she is literally going to be hiding and stalking around in the background while we are hiding from other Prime assets. So I can only imagine playing the imposter mode with this chick running around on the map. I mean, it's basically going to be impossible to play, but very entertaining. And I'm an adrenaline junkie, so I'm definitely ready to be terrified by her hopping out of nowhere and one-shotting me, as I know will happen many times. However, with that being said, I felt that I would have a very interesting perspective as towards how I feel about this update, being that I come from a very Christian background. But I will say that I do find it very interesting that Red Barrel never seems to discuss or communicate about any other religious beliefs outside of Christianity with their Prime asset. That could very well be because of the time and place that the game is taking place in. I mean, that is definitely a possibility that I won't count out. However, I do believe it is a testament to the truth behind the religion, or at the very least the truth behind that aspect of the Bible that says those who believe in Christ will be persecuted. Now, with that being said, I do genuinely love this game because I am a major fan of horror in general, and I don't believe the blasphemy is the entire intent behind this update, but it is definitely looking to be that way. However, if you're playing a game like Outlast Trials, that's something that you kind of just got to throw out the window, man. I mean, this game is freaky as hell, and I mean that in the very best of ways, because it is genuinely the most entertaining multiplayer game that I have played in several years, and I wish that more people were talking about it and getting into it, because this is genuinely a great game. And I can't believe that we've gotten more than one Prime asset in the big 2025. That just goes to show you that Red Barrels is not playing any games, and they're doing anything and everything in their power to let people know just how goated the Outlast Trials actually is, which I am genuinely happy about. Now, when it comes to this Prime asset, Lilia Bogomolova, I will say that I'm definitely excited to see how this killer's mechanics play out alongside the other Prime assets, because it's basically going to make it impossible to hide in certain areas of the map. And like I said earlier, if you're playing either as a normal reagent or an imposter in that specific Among Us mode, it's definitely going to make your gameplay experience way more terrifying than it would be normally, because stealth will no longer really be an option. So I feel like jammers and just straight up bottle spamming is going to be the only way to handle this one. The X-ray vision will definitely come in handy, as well as the fact that bottles are really the only weapon that you have, that in the brick. And I also feel like that ultimately this means that we are genuinely going in a wonderful direction with the future of this game. And as long as people continue supporting it, we're going to see multiple Prime assets pop up every single year of its life cycle, which is what I want to see. I want to see more missions, I want to see new terrifying monsters to have to run from, and heck, I would even like us to see some references to the very first Outlast game. Since even though I know this is a backstory, it appears that Murkoff are literally pulling freaks out of every single corner of their planet, so I would just love to see us see some familiar faces actually pop up in the Outlast Trials now. But I do want to circle back to the main reaction I had to this video and the announcement of this new Prime asset, which is I feel like Red Barrel is definitely have a lot of internalized trauma when it comes to evangelicals, which is totally understandable.